What do you think
It's
about?
hard. It's hard.
You know what I
But
don't like to ask people? I would love to ask people to be honest about kids,
mhm.
like their opinion about kids, not even their own personal situation. But it's a big debate that is going on online that I see um, on all social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. I don't be on Facebook. I don't know about Facebook, but it's this big thing that's happening on social media where people are kind of debating back and forth about, like, is a life ideal more perfect to not have kids? Is it overrated to have kids? I know it's difficult to ask people that have kids that, because the default answer is always going to be all because you love your kids. You know what I'm saying? But if you had to do it all over again, even though you love your kids, would you still have kids, or would you be, you know what I'm saying, kid free and just living life? You know what I'm saying? It's
Well,
a difficult conversation to have. You know what I'm
Not
saying?
difficult for me. I'll have my second one, not my first one.
So, well, not even like would you have the kids, but you would still have kids though.
Yeah, no doubt.
Really?
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, if I didn't have my first kid, then there probably would have been another kid between the first one and the second one, because some girls like to do deletions without asking a nigga.
Jesus Christ.
Well, at least you know Quentin doesn't just tell other people's business. He does tell his own.
I don't know what that means.
Means we didn't. You overshared.
I haven't overshared. We haven't overshared.
Never mind.
And I know that it's a different answer for people that may have a child with somebody and it's a bitter situation and child support and all that type of stuff. But in a general sense, like I'm wondering, is having children overrated? You know what I'm saying? Like I think that it is. Like if somebody comes to me and they say, which I love, I think that the best thing that's ever happened to me is my daughter. But if somebody was to come to me and they was to say, yo, and Molly, as soon as you came up, I'll bring you up. If somebody was to come to me and they was to say, Anton, like, should I, like, what is your opinion on having a kid or not having a kid? I don't think that I would I don't think it's a right or wrong answer for that.
I think I think kids are beautiful. Like I love kids. Like period.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And again,
But like to
I don't
like
think it's a I
have
don't
them
think
all
it's
the
a bad thing
time.
though, Mika. I don't think it's a bad thing to have kids. Well, let me qualify this statement, right? I think that the world is so messed up
Mm-hmm.
that I would be conflicted on bringing a kid into this world at this time. You got the LGBTQs, you got like even college is not the same,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you go to college, it is a strong possibility that your kid can get indoctrinated. Like I was looking at this whole Charlie Kirk killer situation, and his father is straight up conservative. You know what I'm saying? Die hard, straight up conservative. And he was over there getting, I guess he would be getting bust down by a trans.
He could be a top.
It's the truth. It's the truth. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's I don't know. I don't know if the chance that you take, in addition to the risk of culture and society affecting them, is worth it when it comes to the amount of years that you got to dedicate to making sure that they turn out the way that they're supposed to turn out.
I don't I don't necessarily think that's your fault in life
What do
because
you still got to live with it though?
these are separate human beings, and no matter what you instill in them, they're still going to have their own thoughts and opinions and things like that. Clearly, if you look at the example that you just used, the killer, they're going to
Mhm.
have their own thoughts and opinions, and the people outside that they meet outside their household. So at the end of the day, just do the best job you can. But these are individual people, and that's why I tell people, yes, they are your children, and you're going to love them forever most of the time.
So you
But
can't even really detach yourself if they fuck up though.
no, you're not going to be able to detach yourself. But it's another human being, and you
That
have
may
to
be
you have to come to the
evil.
realization that they
That may
may be
be
like you,
evil.
they may not be like you. Yes, they may be evil. They may be evil. you're gonna be like I spawned Satan. But at the end of the day, what's the alternative? What we're
I
doing
just think
now?
that if I
90
think if you
million
look at
babies gone.
I think if you look at the no, you never really no, not to delete a kid. That's a completely different conversation. But to never get a chick pregnant in the first place. So, like if you look at it historically, Mika, and I want to ask Slimmy this too because I know that Slimmy, um, obviously don't have any kids, never was intentionally trying to get a chick pregnant or something like that. But like if you look at historically, kids, the purpose of kids has changed throughout society. Some people used to have kids so that they could survive, like to make them work on a family farm and all of that type of stuff. And it was that time, and then it was a time where it was a 50% chance that your kid wouldn't even make it past a certain age. And it's been a lot of different times throughout history where, of course, we're being sold on the idea of populating the earth, but I'm not really sure that it's necessarily been the best conditions and the best times to have a kid in the first place. I know during the 60s, 70s, and 80s, a lot of kids was born into the projects and in poverty and all of that type of stuff, right? And even though they thought, oh, okay, everything is great, it's fucked up. It was a really messed up time for a lot of these people. So, and see, I know, like for example, Zay 215 says, "F that, I want a legacy." I think that that's a selfish reason to have a kid. Like if
But
your
you
purpose of
have
having a
to,
kid is just
right?
because you want to feel good about yourself, I don't think that you really are built to have a kid because everything that's about that kid is not about you; it's about them.
But it's supposed to be about populating the earth, right? Populating the earth. So
Earth is
eh,
populated as fuck, though.
no, it's not. It's honestly not.
I
Eh,
mean, we got room
You
for
can
more
go
people, but
you can
it's
go to
eight and a half billion people on Earth.
Bill Gates facts, but let's be clear, you can go to the middle of America and find acreage and acreage just
But
unhappy.
the Earth. If you go over to China, if you go over to India, the motherfuckers
That's
are spilling over each other.
Yeah, that's because they're in one concentrated area. You can go to New York and they spilling over each other. But you go
Eight
to the
and a
rest of
half.
if you go to upstate New York, it's plenty of space.
It's that's one little small. It's 8.5 billion people. How many more people do we need? Do we need to have 15 billion people on Earth?
You don't have to have them. You can just let the androids take over and they'll wipe you out and it'll all be good. You don't have to.
All I'm saying is, I'm just trying to. Slimmy, let me ask you: Do you did you ever have you ever felt? And you don't have to answer this, obviously. Have you ever been like felt like you missed out on anything because up to this point you haven't got a chick pregnant?
No, I don't feel like I missed out on anything. It's actually a blessing that I could do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a catch-22 though, because you would want to know how you are as a parent at the same time. So it's you have the freedoms, but at the same time, it's still a big what if. Oh, what would my kid look like? What would my kid be? How would they act like? Would they act like me? Would they act like the mom? It's just a bunch of what ifs. But at the end of the day, I kind of just feel like everything worked out in its way for a reason. In this day and age, I would be extremely overprotective of my child. And now that would be a reason that I would crash out, like a real crash out where I might fuck somebody up,
Mm.
like, cause I think this world, children aren't valued. People use children as leverage. People are using children to push agendas. It's a really dangerous game that people are playing with kids. And I think it's unfortunate because you really should be cherishing them and raising them up to be great. And most people, they want to instill weird ass values and use children as, I guess you could say, ways of living out what they would want.
Yeah.
For instance, Zaya Wade, like that's a product of horrible parenting and things that you shouldn't do because you force that on them. Like I said, I seen videos where uh Zaire, wait, I can't even remember his real name now, or his original name, but I saw videos where he was talking about girls.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of figured this was forced. So when you got that happening in the world, I believe we aren't adoring children the way that they should be. I'm not putting that on, everybody,
Yeah.
but and then you got other things that's going on that they want to keep declassified that, all type of weird stuff that happens, and then you got pedophilia. Um, I just think this day and age, children aren't being cherished as they should, and we're playing a very dangerous game with humanity by not allowing them to be great at young ages, not allowing them to be outside, exposing them to too much technology too soon. It's just a lot of issues that people aren't really realizing. They're just going with the flow with children, and they aren't regulating things the right way and allowing children to blossom. And that's not all parenting though. That's just what I see like the media using them for.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. So, any
I
other
think it
thoughts?
can work both. I think it can work both ways. I do agree with Slimmy, but I also think, you know, you can look at the other side. You look at somebody like Barron Trump. Like that is a phenomenal child. Like when you look at all the stuff that he's actually done before the age of 13, that he set up himself, that he wanted to do, the things that he likes to talk about, how he mobilized a lot of stuff with uh, the political campaign with his father this go around. Like the young man is poised. He hears all types of things about his father. I'm sure he's Gen Z. I'm sure he's able to get on there and be Twitter fingers if he wanted to, but he doesn't. Like he's a poised, very well put together young man. So good things can come out of it as well. And I see regular people's kids same way. Like I've met children on the street and they're just so what they're like well behaved, they're nice, they're mild mannered, you know. It's I see both sides. I can see why people wouldn't want to, but I also see the joy in why people would.
Mm. Hmm.
I think it was interesting that, like you brought up Gen Z, and they NBC or somebody, they did a poll on like the Gen Z voters, and the vast majority of them have no interest in having kids. So I think at some point we'll just see a population collapse in general. Like they don't see, it's very low on their list of priorities, especially the females, like the liberal females and the more conservative females, they both are really not interested in having children. So I think at some point a lot of people are not going to. And they're kind of starting to do it now. Japan, they're having a population crisis. Everybody's old.
They are.
So
I don't blame them though. I can't lie. Like I just don't blame them.
I think as things get more industrialized, that's just like the natural cycle of things. The women start working more and prioritizing work over family. And that's just where we're at as a society. And the other societies who start industrializing more and get more modernized, eventually they'll prioritize work over sitting at home birthing babies all day. So I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe it's not a point in it anymore. I think humans are becoming obsolete personally with all the technology. It's only a matter of time. And we're gonna be cyborgs or completely uploaded to the cloud. So I think our days are numbered, no matter
Mm.
if people want to have children or not. People are having fertility issues more and more. So
Well, the fertility issues. Have you seen the? I think I don't know if it's one of those Asian countries. I'm pretty sure it's probably like China, but the bot babies
Yeah, I heard about that.
that you can they're putting the embryos in the bots and they can hold the babies.
Yeah, they
I
had
don't know
like
how they're
pod
gonna do that,
babies.
but right, right. It's
Yeah,
like a new
they're
age
gonna be
testing baby.
psychopaths. We think Gen Z and Gen Alpha is weird. They're gonna get more weirder and more detached from what we think is reality. So,
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a conspiracy theorist, Molly?
mm, yes, but some stuff is just like I also have to see like some type of tangible proof behind it. So it really it depends. It depends.
Hmm. I don't know, man. But I do. I see like a raging debate online. People that don't have kids is mad at the people that do got kids and vice versa because you know how it is. Women are always arguing with each other. And it ain't even a black or white thing. It's really just it's happening across the board. Like some people are saying that you should have kids, some people are saying that you shouldn't have kids. Um, I'm not mad either way. My biggest thing is if you are going to have kids, just make sure that you can take care of them.
What are
Because
people mad about?
it's almost like kid shaming or not kid shaming or whatever. Because there's a movement of people online that's basically saying, or women online that's basically saying, I'm glad that I don't have kids. I don't plan to ever have kids or whatever, so on and so forth. And then of course anybody and everybody is getting offended and they saying what makes you think that not it's a back and forth thing that's happening. So it's always a woman thing.
It's
It's always
strange because it it doesn't affect your life whether someone has or doesn't. It literally has no effect on you. So why would somebody be mad? That's so strange to me.
the same reason why Charlie Kirk's life didn't have any effect on people's lives, but the people wanted to insert themselves into it. It's the same thing. So
I honestly and truly do think not all of those people are being genuine. Some of them I do think are genuine, like Slimmy, right? But the other ones, I think they either can't, right, because they're past a certain point, or they wanted them and didn't work out, and so now they're just buffering and trying to hide behind certain things. So I don't. I never. Anytime I hear it, I never really pay attention to the online conversations because I've seen plenty of women say, "Oh, I never want kids," and then they finally get kids, and you just see them light up when they have that
Yeah,
baby. So
I agree. I see that too. That I don't know if women who truly decide not to have kids, like, are you really happy because that's our biological impulse, at least to desire a family, even if it doesn't happen right away. But I don't know. I think they cope with it too. Like, are you really like the women who get older and they just have no stable man, no children? It's like, are you really happy? Are you really happy? Because I think a man could be happy with that kind of lifestyle, but women,
so
mm,
y'all think that it's a difference between men and women when it comes to, because I'm seeing a lot of women either they lying or they pretending like they happy to have kids or they not happy to have kids. Let me
I think
revise
they're
that. They're
lying.
basically saying I'm happy I don't have kids and I'm okay with not having kids. And they don't necessarily have a man, but they also don't have kids.
they're not happy.
I don't
And
think
I'm
so
not. I
either.
can't say it's all right because you might just have those group that 1% that's just weird like that, you know. Or just because I don't understand why somebody would just say I don't like kids. I don't, but you might have them. But for the most part, I think it's just women that never got to it. They prioritized whatever they prioritized and they never got around to it. Because when I look at women like, I'm just going to use celebrities because we know them. When I look at women like Mary J. Blige, it's something missing.
Mary
When
J.
I look
Blige
at
don't have no kids.
not one,
Hmm.
I mean, she been doing music most of her life, so
Y'all
I
don't
mean,
think that Mary? You
there's
don't think
tons
that
of
Mary
women
J.
that
Blige is happy?
no. She
Mm.
Mary J. Blige says it a lot. I mean, to be honest, at least I can say Mary J. Blige is one of those that is, honest about not really being happy.
You
And they
think
were
she's not happy
nurturing.
now?
She had a I can't remember what the interview who the interview was with, but she talked about how she was angry before she went on this last tour that she did, and because she just had the divorce with her husband and yada yada, and
So,
she though
But
her stepkids were like her own, but they're not her kids, and
make
she was
no
talking about all
mistake
that.
about it. Like having kids with the wrong person, I think is worse than not having kids. If a woman says that she's not happy, I I
don't you
I,
think?
I can't imagine that because I see a lot of chicks that run out here and get pregnant, but it don't necessarily mean that they doing it the right. Like it's a lot of single parent households. And so I
Right.
don't. That's the other part of it that we not. I would rather a woman not have kids than just have kids and just be a baby mama
Well,
with the
that's
wrong
the
person on purpose.
But that's the other side of the ones that you hear like, oh, if I could do it over, I wouldn't have kids. Yeah, because you had kids with the wrong person. You were just having kids, right? Like most people, they're just having kids. They're just having kids.
Well,
They're
the
not
thing of
actually wanting to. Go ahead.
uh, going back to Mary J. And you said she wasn't happy. I think it's probably good that she don't have kids. Because if you're not in a state of happiness in your life, what kind of parent are you gonna be? You're not gonna be a good one,
I agree.
especially being angry. That's gonna be a bad look because you're gonna take it out on the kids, especially if it's somebody who dipped on you or whatever.
I agree. I agree, but it's just to show you that there's is something there. That's what I mean. Like it's something. I don't know what it is. I'm not around a woman enough to actually pinpoint it, but it's something there because most of those interviews I've seen, they've gotten around to that, and it's something. Like it's just something, and I don't know what it is. But she definitely loves kids because when she was married, she was talking about how much she loved her stepkids and how they bring her joy and this and that. So I'm putting two to two together. I think she definitely wanted kids. I don't know if she can't have kids, because I don't know her, that deep in her life. But I don't know if she can't have kids or she just didn't get around to having them. But whatever the case, she's very honest about how she's always felt, her ups, her downs, things like that, and then not having kids.
I'm not mad at a woman that chooses not to have kids. I'm not mad at a woman that chooses not to have kids at all. I don't have a problem with that. I know it's a lot of people that be like, no, a woman has to have a kid. I'm not tripping about that. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing if a chick chooses not to have kids.
I don't think it's a bad thing at all. It's not a good or a bad thing though. It's a personal thing. And what I'm saying is I think most women, at least the majority, they want children.
I see people questioning women that don't have kids all the time though when they say, why didn't you have kids? But they on the flip side, they don't necessarily question the women that have children and ain't the best mothers or don't take care of them or weaponize the kids. Women that have kids are celebrated even if they fucked up, even if they are horrible people. Like it's oh man, salute to the single mothers or whatever. But then women that don't have kids that choose not to have kids, and I think that that's probably the more responsible thing to do is to make an informed decision. A lot of times they get questioned.
I think that's the key, though. I think making an informed decision as early as you can, because unfortunately for us, we do have like time against us. Um, because I do think that there are some people who genuinely are cool without having children, and that's fine. But I also think that some people stumble into either not having children, having potential complications, or only being able to have one child because they just kind of they didn't it wasn't that they didn't want kids, but they just kind of paced through life. They focused on their on education and their job, and then one thing led to the other, and they look up and they're 35 years old with no child, realizing they want a child, and now it's like I gotta hurry up and find somebody. I only have time to have one or two. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's what I'm seeing with some of these 30-ish women. Like a lot of my family, some of my family members, their friends ages, it seems like they just really never stop to think about it in their 20s, and now it's like, what do I do? So I just say try to decide early on. But like in my case, I just thought like it's almost like after high school you go to college. College to me was like 13th grade. I didn't always really even know why I was going to college. It was like, you're supposed to go to college. I'm a woman. I'm supposed
So
to
a
get
lot of people
married
just doing it
and
because they
have
feel like that's what
kids.
they're supposed to do.
Yeah, and I don't know that that's bad per se. Like I'm glad I felt like, all right, I'm gonna have kids. But now that I'm with my kids for real, now that I'm like really intentional about what I want them to be about, really pouring into them, I really do think that women should get the conversation at a very young age of, if you do decide to go the route of motherhood, you need to be prepared for what this picture could and should look like for you to truly raise and nurture your children so that they can make a well-informed decision of if they don't want to go that route or if they do want to go that route.
Can I highlight a comment that isn't good or bad, but it begs a good conversation? Jazz said maybe people should just mind their business and do what's best for them. Well, if we all did that, right? Then what's a society, right? Because if I mind my business, you mind your business, then we're not a society. Like we're not cohesive, right? We're not doing the same values, right? If everybody's so individualistic, then you get chaos. So we're either going to be invested in each other as humans, as a society, as a country, or we're not. But we can't just say, well, you mind your business here and then you don't mind your business there. Or when I feel like it, you can be involved, and when it's not, you can't be involved. It's
But
no, it's a
why
village.
it even outside of that, people voluntarily share their opinion on social media and they put the
Mhm.
information out there publicly to be discussed. So it's not a mind your business situation if somebody starts the discussion by sharing their own personal experience and they soliciting feedback, because it's not like they turn the comments off. They put it out there, they engage with people, they say, this is what I feel like, and this is what my situation is, or whatever, blah, 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 story time. And so I don't understand the whole mind your business aspect of that.
Oh, because they want that. We listen and we don't judge.
Well, I think that mind your business also kind of implies that you're trying to tell someone what to do with their business. And in the area of deciding if you want to have children or not, I think that that is absolutely something that people should be open to talking about, especially those who already have children, to younger people. Like, how else will you really know if those who have already gone down that road don't share with you, and if you don't share with them? I don't understand how you grow if everybody is in a silo, minding their business and not talking with one another.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this?
Yeah, I want to say something about that last part. Well, the mind your business thing is also relevant because in most cases, people don't give a fuck ultimately. Because if that's the case, if everybody wasn't minding their business, it would be so many more scenarios where there wasn't homelessness, there wasn't situations where people don't have food. But most people mind their business when it comes to things like that. This is another scenario where you probably should, because it doesn't affect you one way or the other. So I think it's easy to say that at times in humanity, but then other times when people really need to step up, they usually don't. That's where the whole thing where society, well, what Mika said, like about society, we wouldn't be a society. Well, I mean, we are very much a society in most cases where people don't give a fuck. Like in all reality, that's just a fact. Like people do not care in most scenarios, and nobody has a problem with that. So I think this is another one where I don't think it affects you one way or another, and maybe most people should mind their business. Now, if you want to get advice from folks, that's a totally different thing. Then I guess you could be open to conversation. But most people they don't want to discuss real shit. They don't want to be a society for real.
Yeah, that's why I thought Jazz's comment begged to have a discussion, because you got two sides of that coin. But if we don't, if we say we don't care, then how do you have a society? So
All right, anybody else? All right, let me read some of these super chats and then we'll deep dive into the show. Thank you, Carrie, for I don't even know how we got on that, but I think it's something that Carrie said that
Oh, you asked me, what do I do?
oh yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what do I
yeah.
do in the day?
So basically, you don't be doing nothing. Don't worry about it.